Well, hello lovely humans and welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing something kind of different than I've done before. These are actually videos that I super enjoy watching because you never know what you need until someone else tells you that you need it. So I'm here today to share with you, how many? 9? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, sure, of my most unexpected but most essential kitchen items. So without further ado, let's just jump right on into it. Now, these are all things that I never knew that I needed until I had them. And if they were to mysteriously disappear or catch fire or I don't know, they would just cease to exist in my home in general. That does happen when you have children. Stuff just walks away sometimes. I would immediately go out and repurchase these things because they are that important to me. So I didn't put them in any particular order because to be totally honest, I've got 20 minutes until someone's gonna be here. So just need to kind of power through this, all right? Ready? Let's go. First item that I didn't know I needed until I had it is a cast iron skillet. And honestly, I would say a majority of these items were either in my dishwasher or in my sink or have some food residue on them because we literally use them that often, okay? So if it looks a little grimy, it's because it's well loved. It's not dirty, it's well loved. But you'll see this on a lot of people's lists and for good reason. One of the main reasons that I love this is because it just makes me feel fancy. It makes me feel like I could just cook anything because look at me cooking my cast iron skillet. I'm such a good housewife, but it's actually really fantastic. So I find myself turning to this anytime I want to brown meat or cook some chicken or even saute some vegetables. And what's great about these is once you get them seasoned well enough, they're actually pretty non-stick. And all I do for cleaning this is run it under warm water, add some sea salt, some nice coarse grained sea salt, and scrub it around with a paper towel and rinse it out and dry it off. And that's it. This is one of the easiest, most low maintenance pieces in my house. So not only does it make you feel like a really fancy housewife who knows what she's doing when it comes to cooking, even though I don't, they're really, really easy to maintain. And they can go in the oven. Homegirl loves a multi-purpose tool like this that you can kind of just use for everything, except for when my husband cooks eggs on it. I hate when he cooks eggs on this. He knows it and he does it anyways. Whatever. The next item on my list is kind of like an upgraded slap chop. I'm not a huge fan of the slap chop because although the term slap chop is fun to say repeatedly, this one is the Fullstar food slicer. I didn't Google any of the names or look them up beforehand. This was gifted to us by my husband's aunt. And we should probably say for the record, my husband's obsessed with kitchen gadgets. While I do most of the cooking, he just loves little gadgety trinkets that make your life easier. And so when he first brought this home, I was like, what the heck? We don't need that. That's what knives are for. And basically it's to chop the vegetables and stuff. But really and truly, I full on ate my words with this bad boy. This thing we use constantly. I don't know about you, but I use a lot of onions in my cooking and I hate cutting them. I do. So with this thing, all we have to do is quarter them or have them depending on the size of the onion. Toss them in this bad boy and slap them on through. And you get perfectly cut pieces of onion every single time. Because when I cut them myself, they're never even. So sometimes I'll just get an entire onion, chop it up real fast in this bad boy, and then throw the remaining stuff in the fridge so I can go back to it later. Again, one of the most used items in my kitchen that I didn't know I needed until I had it, and now I can't live without it. It also comes with a smaller attachment for even an even finer dice. I don't use this one as often. I mostly use that larger one. But hey, just in case, I've got this sitting around, Next item I actually got off of Wish, and that is a strainer. It happens to be a really cute whale shape, but the reason that I got this is I hate colanders. I know they serve a purpose, but I hate washing them. I really do. It was one of my least favorite dish items to wash, even as a small child. I remember my mom would make spaghetti and I'd be like, I don't want to wash the colander. But with this thing, it's so tiny and it's so easy to use, and all you have to do is rest it against the pot as you pour the water out. If this somehow mysteriously disappeared because my children mistook it as a toy, I would go buy more of them. In fact, I kind of want to buy more just because this is always in the dishwasher and I need to have access to it more often. So 10 out of 10 recommend. You don't have to get it off of Wish. It's just where I happen to find it. I will link one down below. In fact, whatever I can, I will link down below. But I love this. It doesn't take up a bunch of real estate in my dishwasher. It's really small, but it does the same exact job as a colander. This is a nice little replacement. The next item on my list is gonna kind of be a twofer, okay? Okay. Kitchen scissors. And also the second half to that is nice knives. We got this knife block a little bit after we got married, and they are J.A. Henckels knives. And I was gonna pull them over, but I decided not to. They're over there. Most of them are dirty. Okay. But kitchen scissors, I know you're probably thinking, what? They're scissors. It's not rocket science. I use these all the time, and not to like cut open packaging, but to actually cut food. They're sharp enough that like I can cut things up for our toddler. Although he's eating total solid foods at this point, sometimes we cut up pizza to cool it off more quickly, or even like cutting up, oh gosh, what else do I cut? I don't know, I cut things with it. But this is dedicated for just food items. Occasionally I'll open a package or two with it, but this is not for opening other things. You'd be surprised by how often, if you like have a dedicated set of kitchen scissors for food items, how many times you're gonna turn to them. The next item is something my mom actually had a lot growing up, and I never knew that I needed them until I moved out and didn't have them and then had to go get them, and that is flour sack towels. We use these specifically for drying dishes. I leave them out, hanging out all the time. Sometimes we dry our hands on them. What I do enjoy about them is they can dry a dish really, really well, and then they dry out really quickly because I don't have a lot of time to do a bunch of laundry, and stinky hand towels happen a lot in a family of 5. So using something like this is a great way to clean off all of your dishes. They don't have lint, they dry really fast. I don't know, what else can I say? These are from IKEA, and as you can tell, you might not be able to tell, there's some stains on it because we have children and we're sloppy humans. But I know a lot of my viewers are putting together their registries because they're engaged, coming over from my main channel. So consider registering for a couple of flour sack towels. They dry super quick. They're really great for drying your dishes. And then you get to keep your nice pretty hand towels for nice pretty hand towels until you have children, and then they're just hand towels. Next item is an instant read thermometer. We actually just got this within the last 12 months or so. This has saved my life. Okay, I know that sounds a little bit dramatic, but like, we don't eat raw chicken anymore because of this. We didn't eat raw chicken before. I'm not that bad of a cook, okay? We use this specifically for temping meat when we're cooking it, or even something like baked potatoes. Did you know that you're supposed to bake a baked potato until it's almost boiling in the center? Yep, there's fun fact for you that I found out. And this one is the Lavatools Javelin. Again, whatever I can, I will link down below. It is pretty instant read. You stick it in, and about 2-3 seconds later, you have a pretty accurate reading. We do have remote thermometers for when we're using like our Traeger, which is our smoker outside, or if we're slow cooking something in the oven. But if I just want to pop in real quick and check and see if the meat is done, this is definitely a lot easier. And the whole reason that we have this actually is because of my next kitchen essential. Like, I can't live without this. And that is the America's Test Kitchen TV show cookbook. If you guys have not seen America's Test Kitchen, it is by far the most educational cooking show that I have ever seen. While they're there for somewhat entertainment, mostly what they want to do is just teach you how to be better cooks. The whole baked potato thing, like I didn't know that you had to cook a baked potato to about 205 degrees until I watched the show and I read this book. My cousin, who is a baker and also went to culinary art school, turned me on to them. And every single recipe I've cooked from this has been amazing. And I've learned a heap ton from it. Honestly, it's not one of those, like, it's not a cute cookbook. This is strictly all informational, really cohesive. And the reason that I love this cookbook specifically is they actually test out all of their recipes. And they tell you why they made the decisions that they made. So it not only teaches you how to cook, but teaches you how to be a better cook in the process. So if you are on the hunt for a cookbook, I highly, highly, highly recommend checking this one out. They offer a bunch of different cookbooks, but this one is by far our most used. It's like our cookbook Bible. We go to this for everything. In fact, it was sitting out on the counter because my husband wanted a banana bread recipe. So check them out. Next item, freaking massive Stockpot. Now this one is by Rachel Ray from Target from like, I don't know, 7 years ago. So my guess is it's not available anymore. And honestly, I bought this thinking, oh, like maybe I'll use that someday, sometime, whatever. Now that I'm hosting events and I also like to make my own chicken stock, this thing is used several times a month. So while it is large and it's a little bit more cumbersome to store, I actually will put other pots inside of it because it does take up a lot of room. This is something that I turn to quite often. Mashed potatoes is like a food group to me. And so when I make mashed potatoes, I have to make like several pounds of them because I'm going to consume most of it. So we have to be sure to have a very large vessel to pull all that off with because I don't want to cook them in small batches. No gracias. And there are fancier versions out there, I'm sure, that like have a heavier bottom, but this is mostly for soups and stocks. And this one I also do toss in the oven as well, especially when making those mashed potatoes. Wow, can I say mashed potatoes anymore? Mashed potato, mashed potato, mashed potato. To get a nice little crust on top. Oh. I need mashed potatoes right now. Especially as a mom of 3 and cooking in large batches, this is like my go-to soup, stock, tater bucket. And last but most certainly not least, the most unexpected of them all, Panini Press. We bought this because my parents were making a bunch of paninis and my mom was like, you need to get a Panini Press. And I was like, I don't know if I really do. We snagged this at Walmart. We've had it for years. It's grody. It's got like cheese stuck on it from the last time that we made grilled cheese, all right? So it's not cute. But honestly, we use this several times a week. This, for me, is super essential because when I wait too long to try to figure out what I'm making for dinner, and I'm like, I don't know what to do, like, I'll just make grilled cheeses or fancy paninis, heck, even quesadillas. What I love about this one specifically, you can actually cook burgers on here, you can cook sausages or fish or other sorts of meat, and they have options for all those. It's got a great little handy dandy cooking meter right here that changes color as the cooking progresses because it actually measures how much the panini press is squished, like how much it's moved. So this has been a lifesaver for us for like last minute emergency dinners because let's be honest, as much as I would love to cook every single night, I can't. Like I'm either not here because I'm working events, so my husband will use this to whip up some quesadillas for the kids. Whatever, there's a bunch of different options for this kind of thing. So if you were like me and have a little bit more of a full schedule and you can't always cook from scratch, grab a panini press. Make sure you always have a loaf of bread on hand and a couple things of cheese and you will feel so fancy. You'll feel, like throw some jalapenos in there. Some banana peppers, who cares, whatever. Panini press. You didn't know you need it, but now you know. So that's what we have for today, folks. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with me. I'm wiping off my hand because I really need to clean that panini press. Gross, but at least it goes to show you that we like actually use it quite often. What are some of your unexpected kitchen items that you found yourself falling in love with? Let me know in the comments below. I always love hearing from you guys. And if I can, I will link anything down below if you guys are interested in purchasing it yourself. And until next week, bye guys.